In today's news, we have student athletes at Eatonville High School being treated like parolees on the sex offender registry, and a fact-checking website saying the whole story is a false, right-wing conspiracy theory because the program is required only for sports and not the entire student body. Because this is dystopian clown world and the ride just won't stop. This story is absolutely mortifying, and the so-called fact check of it is even worse, and quite frankly is a perfect example of why you can't trust the fact checkers to, well, give you the facts. The entire fact check article not only dismisses this story as a right-wing conspiracy because the post-millennial happened to report on it.
Oh God, no!
Despite it also being reported on by Fox News and local news outlets, MSN, and the Daily Mail, but still, it's the post-millennials' fault. But then the fact check also debunks itself.
Oh, you can't win them all. Let's skedaddle.
First, in a day and age in which there is no privacy anymore, and even our children are being forced to wear ankle monitors because COVID, I feel like this is a perfect opportunity to remind everyone of the importance of a VPN. Granted, it won't stop government schools from brainwashing your children or the media from using newspeak, but it does give you privacy and security online and offers you a completely anonymous and untraceable internet experience. ExpressVPN is my personal choice because it's consistently rated the fastest and has over 3,000 servers across 95 countries, so you can even pretend to be from China if you want to be ignored by the NSA. To get 3 months free with your annual subscription, use my link down in the description. This story broke and went viral when a 15-year-old girl texted while at school one day and told her parents that she was being forced to wear an ankle monitor for her volleyball practice or else not be allowed on the team. After this initial text, she stopped answering, so Mom called the school, where she was given the runaround by employees that refused to answer her questions. So then Mom drove to the school, where finally the coach explained that the school had made a decision during a meeting the previous week to require student athletes to wear the monitors for a school contact tracing program. Parents were not informed of the decision, and the new policy is not listed anywhere in the district's back-to-school guidelines for fall 2021, nor is it listed anywhere on the school's specific notice about fall sports. The only requirements listed for registration is actually a current physical. The school district did confirm to local news that the monitors are, indeed, a new policy at Eatonville. The district gave the excuse that the students' whereabouts aren't tracked, but that their proximity to one another and to staff is tracked. In a statement, the district said, "If a student or coach tests positive, we will have immediate information regarding athletes and coaches' contacts so we can more tightly determine who might need to quarantine." And that apparently is a perfectly good excuse for treating students like criminals and not telling their parents. The monitors are called trace tags and are made by a company called Triax. They're marketed as a way for businesses to track and enforce social distancing guidelines. According to the website, the trackers have both an audio and visual alarm if the tracker gets too close to someone else, just like the ones for people on house arrest and files. In addition, even though it says it doesn't use GPS data, it does keep a log of all interactions between trackers. In their overview video, it also shows how each worker, or in this case each student, is assigned a tracker with a number, and their names and trackers are kept in a Triax database. If they weren't, they wouldn't be able to use them for contact tracing. The only thing not on the company's website is the price. The only thing we know for sure is that the district used taxpayer dollars from the American Rescue Plan to pay for it. They have admitted to this.
Have
money well spent.
There is an FAQ section on the school's website specifically about the monitors and how they're being used. The FAQ section did not exist on the website before the story broke. The only FAQ it held until this story spread was an FAQ around COVID guidelines from October of last year. Under the new FAQ section is a notice dated August 24th, which states that the school has recently received a lot of questions about the monitors from local families, which again suggests that parents weren't aware. The notice explains how the monitors are part of the school's mission of encouraging students to have grit. I don't really know how that makes you gritty, but okay. The notice also confirms where the money came from and says, well, it's okay because it's what pro athletes use in the NFL, ignoring the fact that, NFL players are adults that can consent to being tracked and are being paid millions of dollars to do so. The post-millennial speculates that the purpose of the monitors is segregation, as the mother was reportedly told that if a student tests positive and the monitors confirm close contact, only the unvaccinated teenagers would have to quarantine. The Daily Dot took it upon themselves to fact-check this story, and their original headline says that no, the school wasn't requiring ankle monitors of its unvaccinated students, which is not accurate. They've updated it to read, high school falsely accused by conservative outlet of forcing unvaccinated teens to wear ankle monitors. They say that the story is false because the monitors are being required for all student athletes, regardless of vaccine status, even though the post-millennial says the exact same thing right in the first paragraph.
Your reading comprehension is terrible.
And the Dot quotes that paragraph in their fact check. But the story is false.
I've got nothing.
They also say it's false because the monitors, quote, are not specifically designed to be worn on the ankle and, according to the device's manufacturer Triax, can be affixed to any hard hat or worn on the body for proximity detection and contact tracing. So it's fake news because the media is calling them ankle monitors when they weren't necessarily designed specifically for ankles, but clothing and bodies in general. So they're designed in part to be worn on the body, and the school is making kids wear them on their ankles. So it's a monitor on your ankle, but the story is false because it's not an ankle monitor. And that is how fact-checking works. The Dot also claims that parents were involved in the original meeting and decision-making process, and that permission slips were sent home, which directly conflicts with statements from other outlets. And the Dot, even further on, admits that the school did forget to tell some parents as an oversight oopsie. The FAQ on the school website even states that parents were invited to attend a school meeting, but were not actually told what the meeting was about. When asked if all parents had been aware of the program and were given consent forms, the school simply refused to comment. Even so, the Dot, which still claims that the story is false, had to include an update that, quote, a spokesperson for Eatonville originally told the Daily Dot that trackers were entirely voluntary, but this morning the school revised its statement to the Daily Dot to note that students could opt out, but if they did, they would not be allowed to participate in sports. But the story is false, and a conspiracy. The school does a similar little dance on their FAQ page. Under the question, is the Eatonville School District using trackers? They answer, no, we're using proximity monitors. Which, Okay, semantics, I guess, but I think we can all agree the school is very clearly trying some semantic gymnastics to try and temper the controversy. Under the question, are students being tracked? The answer states no, but the distance between students is being tracked, as well as how long they spend time close to each other. So we're tracking negative space, or the lack thereof, which at the end of the day gives the same result as if they were tracking the student. And remember, we already know that for contact tracing purposes, each tracker is connected to a student by name, and that information is kept in a database, which sounds a lot like tracking. They also excuse it by saying, well, the kids have to leave the monitors at school, so that makes it okay. The outrage over this both A, suggests that parents were not made aware, and B, resulted in the district deciding to table the monitors until they could get input from the school community, which also suggests that people weren't aware of the program. But remember, fake news. That's it for this one, folks. Please help me beat the YouTube algorithms and appease the YouTube gods with a like, share, and comment, or subscribe if you're new here. If you would like to help out the channel in other ways, I have a full list of partners down in the description, as well as support options like Patreon, Subscribestar, and PayPal. As always, thanks for tuning in and helping me to spread the message of liberty. Fake news!